gotta come down here because I got water maker issues.
In this episode, we're heading for Georgetown, Exuma. But first, we swim Dean's Blue Hole and troubleshoot our water maker while underway. Of course, we had to hike remote beaches and check out a few hidden gems. But after almost running over an uncharted sunken boat, we're ready to hit the shallow sandbars, soak up crystal clear waters, and add in a little classic boat life chaos. Yep, another unscripted story from life aboard our floating home. If we haven't met before, I'm Jen, and this is Dave, a Colorado couple who swapped snow boots for scuba fins aboard our Nordhavn 55. So welcome, and don't forget to hit that like button and smash subscribe so you can follow right along our journey. We made our way from West Caicos to Clarencetown, Long Island to check into the Bahamas. The plan was to arrive early and make a run to Dean's Blue Hole, then off to Georgetown. What we just came through. The tide's rising though, so we should be able to get back out. Once we checked into the Bahamas, there was only one thing on my mind: Dean's Blue Hole, a stunning natural wonder that drops more than 600 feet straight down into the deep blue. I've wanted to see this place in person for so long. Oh, nice!
Oh,
Yikes.
it's graceful entry, but I got like 4 flips.
It's famous as a freediving mecca and home to the vertical blue competition where athletes descend to crazy depths on a single breath. It's pretty wild to see. It's a flooded limestone sinkhole formed when ancient caves were carved out during much lower sea levels. The opening at the surface is only about 100 feet wide, but as the sinkhole descends, it opens to a cavern more than 300 feet across. And swimming there, it feels surreal. One moment you're in the clear, shallow water, and the next you're peering into this massive blue void that feels equal parts of beautiful and unsettling. That was cool to see. Now when they do the whole free dive competition, to be like, I was there. Bright and early, we headed to Georgetown before some weather moves in and our first guests of the season arrive.
Well, welcome to the forward mechanical room of Explorado. We are currently underway. We turned the corner into some 3-footers, 4-footers head on, and so it's bouncing around pretty good, but I gotta come down here because I got water maker issues. Excuse the mess. This is, it's on the to-do list to organize. I've got the nets and I've got filters over there for the engine filters, oil filters, fuel filters. Jen's got an extra freezer down here. And then over here I got more parts. So it's kind of a nice little area. I wish I had it organized better. It throws my mind off because it's angled. It's at the bow, going like this. It's angled. And so I can't put in like shelving units like I'd like. So we left this morning. I wanted to fill up the water tank. Started running it. It was running fine. Salinity's fine. It's down to 150 ppms. It's doing good, but it's not putting water into the tank. I was kind of stumped. I read the manual. I got the manual on the iPad and called Village Marine up in Fort Lauderdale, and the guy said there's probably a bacteria. He asked a bunch of interesting questions. If I'd been in the Chesapeake recently, he said he had about 5 or 6 calls recently where people were in the Chesapeake, they came down the warm water, and he thinks there might actually be just a thought, a speculation that there's some sort of bacteria that was growing and blocking up the membrane. Luckily, I do have spares. I know I don't have spares of everything, but before we left, I've got pump oil and filters. In fact, look at all those filters down there. Those are just the 5 micron filters. I got the Charger filters, and then I've got the filter cartridge cleaning kit. We're going to take out this 5-micron filter, put in one of these filters, run it for about 30 minutes, take it out, flush it again, put it in the other filter. They're just the chemical cartridges that'll hopefully flush all the chemical stuff out of the membranes, and we can get some more flow going to our water maker. All this while we're bouncing around. If you hear any noise, that's the water out there. Wish me luck.
We made reservations for a mooring ball to make it a bit easier for our guests coming in. But first, we plan to do a little exploring. Hey, we are in beautiful Georgetown, but we're about to hop in the dinghy and just go explore.
Oh, you wanted me to take that.
I'm not doing my job.
Sorry. Apparently, this is my job.
How far you want it up?
How about that?
Good.
Just throw it in.
I don't want to get my feet wet. Throw me in. Let's talk water makers. Panel up in the pilot house and our gauge. And so this Nordhavn 55 has a 600-gallon water tank, which lasts Jen and I 10 to 14 days easily. We're not big water users, big water hogs. Probably the number one thing is flushing toilets. We use a gallon or so per flush. Showers, another 5 to 10 gallons, maybe, you know. We like to conserve water by showering together. The other thing that uses some water on here is obviously cleaning dishes and that sort of thing, but 600 gallons lasts a while. Now, tomorrow or the next day, 2 days from now, the in-laws are coming in. We're going to have 3 guests. We're going to have 5 occupants on this boat, and we'll go through water much quicker. So, wanted to fill up the tanks. On the way over here from Turks and Caicos, I ran the water maker for a while and it didn't work. So let's go downstairs to the forward mechanical room and we'll talk about it down there. Guest VIP in the bow of the boat is the forward mechanical room. I think we've already discussed that. Up there's a bow thruster, some storage, anchor wash. Down here in the back section is a hot water heater, UV for the water pumps, the main water pump, an auxiliary water pump. And then here we have the Village Maker 800 stowaway model water maker. Water makers, generally, they have a number after them, 800, 600, 400. That's how many gallons per day they make. Divide by 24, and our water maker makes about 33 gallons an hour. Water comes from outside, the raw water, goes through a low pressure pump on this side, which puts a good pressure of water into the water maker. Then that high pressure pump back there squeezes it through these 2 big old membranes, and the salt comes out. The fresh water goes into the big tank, and that's all there is. Well, I'm joking. There's a little bit more than that, but not too much more. What happens is, as we're running, I don't want to start it because you won't be able to hear me, but as we run, starts a low pressure pump first, then the high pressure pump, goes through the membranes, comes into this little sensor that is a salinity sensor. It senses if it's more than 500 ppm on the salt. It gets shoved out the side of the boat. You'll see there are 3 labels: product, cleaning, and brine. So that would be considered brine. It goes overboard, and the clean product goes into the tank. This little sensor is actually, I'm going to tell you about this because this got us in trouble a little bit this week. This sensor Water comes in, it senses which way to send it, and it's a little solenoid valve with a little flipper flapper. How do you like those technical terms? That little flipper flapper, if it's below 500, shoots it into our tank, and if it's above, shoots it overboard like I just said. But I didn't know this, that little solenoid valve can sometimes get stuck. And so what happened, I turned it on upstairs, wasn't really paying attention. For 5 hours, ran this thing, and no water was going into the main tank. That was my bad. I should have come down here and looked as soon as I started it up. But there was no flow whatsoever. I couldn't figure it out. And what happens is, there is that little button right there. I can push back and forth. Don't want to do that. That little flipper flapper valve probably got stuck with a piece of salt or something. Got stuck to the shove it all overboard. And so even though it was making clean water, it got here and it said it was clean, but that little flipper flapper valve and the solenoid just shoved all the water overboard. So for, I think it was like 7 hours, we made water and just shoved it right back into the ocean. So live and learn. By the way, for you boat tech nerds, you see this little piece right here? I said, hey, let's just have this replaced in case that happens again. It's a little simple solenoid, 3-way valve, $451. Yep. So I just exercised this button, opened up that flipper flapper a bunch, squeezed that little pebble of salt out, and it seems to be working fine now. I probably will get that spare unit, maybe just not right away because I don't think I need it just yet. And I don't want to spend $451 plus shipping it over here. So at least now I know my boat a little bit better. As they always say, best way to know your boat is one mechanical breakdown at a time. That's how you get to know your boat. The only downside to this is, well, there's two. One is it runs off 110 AC, so it eats up a little bit of power. Actually, this is, yeah, it eats up a lot of power. This is actually on the 240 panel, excuse me. Number two, it's loud as crud. This thing is the loudest thing on the whole boat. There are 3 big noisemakers on this boat: the generator, the water maker, and the compressor for the air horn. This is the loudest. Running this thing, people cannot sleep in the VIP. So we try to just run it while we're underway. You never even know about it. But I've been running it in the morning when I charge up the batteries. I turn this on a couple hours, just keeping that water tank full, because as we get guests, they use water.
So we are gonna head in and do a hike around the monument. It's way over there. I don't know. We got a little off track on the way to Stocking Island Beach on the Exuma Sound side of the island, but once we got there, totally worth it. This beach was incredible. Sand dunes, clear water, and tucked away on the Atlantic side of the island. And hidden out here are stromatolites, believed to be some of the oldest known macrofossils on Earth, some of the earliest evidence of life on this planet. It's pretty surreal to stand in a place this beautiful and look at something tied to Earth's earliest history. Of Stocking Island's old beacon, and wow, the view from the top was worth every sweaty step. From up here, you can see Elizabeth Harbor on one side, the Atlantic on the other, and all those unreal shades of blue in between. The color of that water is fantastic. Look at this. Turquoise. It's beautiful. One of those moments that makes you stop, take it all in, and remember exactly why we choose this life. And of course, views of the bay on Stocking Island are breathtaking. There are so many boats. I am definitely out of shape. And it's hot. It's like 81 degrees out. You got it.
Getting a little bit better at this.
You're getting a lot better at it.
Well, I haven't crashed one this week, so, well, actually.
Nice little hurricane holes. But we're too big. We can't fit. How deep was that coming in?
The cut, I saw is 6 feet, and I was right there dead center where we would have been with a big boat.
Oh,
so
yeah. Our
not
draft is
for us.
6.5. Way
And
too shallow.
it says it's plus 2.2 feet right now.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's not happening. We've got some strong weather coming in, so we headed back to the boat to prepare. Hey, what are you doing?
time to put the exhaust condom on. Well, it's actually an old fender cut in half, but we have a dry exhaust and it's going to rain the next couple of days.
Yeah.
And so I don't want that rain getting into the exhaust, because then when we start it up the next day, you get those big black balls of crap. So it's not a sophisticated technical way to do this, but it works. And then we just put this, oh, it's a little windy. Oh, it's coming down on me. Yay! The exhaust condom is on. Once you put the exhaust cover on, you have one last step, and that is you got to put this sign on top of the key so you don't accidentally start the engine with the cover on the exhaust. That would be bad.
We're just sitting here through 35, 40 knot winds. But all's good. We're just chilling.
So it is 27 gusting 28, or excuse me, 27 gusting 38, and it's been like that all day long. Those are actuals behind it, and so here it is. And then luckily it'll drop off a little bit, and then tomorrow
Back in the green.
back in the green. So
Uh-oh. Our dinghy's getting wet.
as Jen and I start thinking about longer journeys away from home, further destinations, I think it's probably a good idea to start thinking about adding a second water maker. One water maker is good. Two, you always want a backup of everything. So an easy thing would be to get the exact same water maker, so that the exact same water filters, the exact same parts. Pretty simple. But I'm not really thrilled with that water maker. It is really loud. I mean, just unbearably loud. We cannot run it while there's guests in the boat, so we have to run it underway, or it's just horrible. I can't even hear the TV at night or anything if it's running. Second is it's a power hog. So I know there are some smaller units that are 24 volt DC that only make 8 or 10 gallons an hour, but you can run them continuously, sort of in the background, that you don't even know they're happening. They sort of trickle in. So I'm thinking about something like that, or going the other way and just doing a massive, like 1,800 gallon per water maker. That way, fill it quickly. It sounds like 800 gallons per day is a lot, and it is, but that's running at 24 hours, and generally we just don't do that. So when we run the generator is when we run the water maker, and we only do it for a couple hours a day, if that. We can run the water maker off the batteries, but I'd like to see about adding a second water maker. So I'm not sure what's out there, if there's anything new and improved, quieter, lower voltage, that would be fantastic. If you have any suggestions, drop them, you know, wherever you drop them. I don't know that stuff, in the comments or whatever, and let me know what you think out there.
Slipped out before another round of weather moves in, planning a peaceful mangrove ride to another blue hole, and almost ran over an uncharted sunken boat. Appears to be a sunken boat graveyard.
There's supposed to be a blue hole up here.
Oh, yeah. We're just getting ready to go snorkel a blue hole. Just out in the middle of nowhere. A blue hole. But it's supposed to be like 600 feet deep. Lots of fish and lobsters, so we're gonna go check it out. This is more of a crack than it is a hole, but it's way more deceptive than it looks. I dove down thinking I could reach the opening. Nope. I can usually dive about 25 feet, but I wasn't even close. This is more of a cave dive feel than a snorkel. First time I dived here. Actually, it'd be too dangerous. That's pretty cool.
Two and a half feet, I think we're good. Uh-oh, 1.8. I don't know why I wanted to go this way, I just wanted to see if we could.
That's why.
Bridge.
That's pretty cool.
Made out of conch shells.
Next on the list, time to hang out on the sandbar. We're going to check out Man of War Sandbank. So it's up here, trying to get to it. Really, really shallow, but it's supposed to be just a huge sandbar. So we're gonna go walk it, check it out, see if we can find any starfish or stingrays or whatever else is floating out here. Oh, we scared it. It took off.
You scared.
I didn't scare it.
The water's too cold, I'm staying in the boat.
Okay. Well, I'm going. I'm gonna go walk the sandbar. There's something wild about walking a sandbar that's totally untouched. The sand ripples look exactly like the water as it left. And it's just us, the sand, the water so clear it barely looks real. No crowds, no noise, just a ridiculously beautiful stretch of nowhere. Thanks for being here and following along with our life aboard Explorado. If you enjoyed this episode, hit like, subscribe, and drop us a comment. We love hearing from you. See you next time.